We meet regularly with the provincial government, whether it's with the ministers themselves or departmental staff. Our most active engagement is with the Minister of Infrastructure's office, as he oversees obviously infrastructure, but also transportation policy and the motor carrier division. We meet regularly to discuss industry's concerns. A big advocacy win was the change to the safety ratings on the Manitoba carrier profile, whereby the provincial government quit penalizing our carriers for inefficiencies that occurred in the United States. This move matched the practice of our American counterparts, who for years weren't being penalized for incidents that took place on Canadian soil. Furthermore, we're working towards positive changes in how facility audits are conducted in this province. We successfully made the case that saw audit fees eliminated. This alone has saved MTA members an estimated $60,000 this year. Motor Carrier Division is now also factoring in roadside inspection results, as well as other safety programs, including RPM certification, MPI, and US DOT audits, as part of their audit protocols. Because of this, a significant number of our member companies have seen their Manitoba safety rating change to satisfactory without the need for a traditional NSC audit. Another item on the provincial government's radar that we're pleased to be working on is the Red Tape Reduction Task Force. Everyone in this industry knows just how regulated we are, and regulators work to ensure that those who participate in trucking or any industry are kept safe. Overregulation has resulted in inefficiencies for our industry and for government. The MTA identified a variety of areas that we felt needed to be reviewed for their administrative and cost burdens. Many of these areas involve paper-based processes that must go through various departments, all looking for the same or similar information. The MTA has already participated in conversations that should ultimately reduce or eliminate these redundancies of process and information sharing. The MTA has also spoken loudly against compliance-based enforcement in support of safety-based enforcement. As mentioned, much of the regulation we're subject to, while well-intentioned, is imperfect. This means strict letter of the law enforcement at roadside or during audit becomes more of an administrative activity than one in support of actual safety results. We have seen some initial progress in this regard and are hopeful that more progress will be realized in coming months. Working closely with the Canadian Trucking Alliance and other provincial trucking associations, we addressed a number of issues on a national level over the course of the last year. One of the items we're working on and have been working on for a while now is the application of the National Safety Code across the country. This is an item that rears its head every now and then as it comes to light that different regions are interpreting parts of the NSC in different ways. As always, we want to ensure an equal playing field for all industry members, which means that our trucks cannot be held up in another jurisdiction due to a different interpretation of a national law. That also means that we need to ensure that the NSC is being applied fairly in our own province too. The fact that our own provincial government exempts US companies from the National Safety Code while they operate on Manitoba roads in competition with Manitoba companies is something the MTA continues to aggressively speak against. Another item we need adjusted is Manitoba's acceptance of US vehicle safeties for US companies, but not for Manitoba companies. These policies simply make no sense, so we look forward to being able to announce that we have partnered with the province on changing these items. While working provincially on the Made in Manitoba Carbon Pricing Initiative, we also worked with the CTA on the federal government's proposed carbon pricing plan. This proposed plan, which will be implemented by the end of 2018, has significant impact on the trucking industry, including dramatic carbon pricing increases in a short period, an administrative burden for the trucking industry and its proposed fuel reporting system, and exemptions for some industries and not others. So really, we've been taking a two-pronged approach on this issue, not only contributing to the Manitoba proposal, but also working to see that the federal proposal doesn't unfairly burden trucking. We also continue our work at the federal level with the Blue Ribbon Task Force on the driver shortage and other human resource issues. Even with changes to technology, the role of truck driver isn't going to go away, and we need to ensure that countrywide, the people filling the seats in those trucks are professionals. It's interesting that over the course of a few years, environmental issues in the trucking industry went from being an internal industry consideration to one of our biggest projects. The MTA has been very involved this year in the Made in Manitoba carbon pricing initiative. The MTA's position on carbon tax is one we adopted back in 2015, which is a proposal to create a carbon tax on diesel with the proceeds returned to industry for investment in tools known to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. We have paid close attention to what other provinces and industries are doing, and we are working with stakeholders throughout the province, ensuring that our industry is working in sync with the general provincial population. We're also working with the CTA and other provincial trucking associations to ensure that the proposed plan of the federal government does not impact the competitiveness of our industry. The MTA has always been committed to being actively involved in the community, and this past year has been no exception. Throughout the year, the MTA has participated with or hosted many events that continue to support community, while encouraging participation from within our membership. These events are great opportunities to share in camaraderie and time well spent with like-minded people. We literally have events for all seasons. There's curling in the winter, the spring gala, truck driving championships, golf tournaments in the summer, and the fall awards dinner. Without a doubt, one of the biggest highlights of the MTA this year was the outstanding support we received for National Trucking Week. Industry stepped up in a big way, making sure that the Vehicle Maintenance Council golf tournament, truck pull for United Way, and convoy for Special Olympics were all successes. We raised over $100,000 this year, and all of that money goes to Manitoba charities. We have always said that the trucking industry is more than just an economic force in the province. We are part of that social fabric of the communities we live. I think that the success of National Trucking Week this year really shows how important community is to our industry. I think that the RPM program has really made an impact on safety in the trucking industry. A specific, well-defined, and well-created program has made it easier to have safety as a priority. RPM began certifying companies earlier this year. So far, we have certified 11 companies. The savings our industry has recognized through reduced WCB premiums is over $460,000, and this doesn't include the savings from reduced incidents. This is a huge feather in the cap of the MTA's RPM program, and I encourage members to continue taking advantage of this service. As well, we now have over 50 companies involved in the program, all working towards certification. We have trained more than 600 people, and we still have 2 months remaining in the year. On top of that, RPM and the Trucking Safety Council are looking at creating more industry-specific training and resources. These additional resources will ensure that not only is safety prioritized, but that the safety component really addresses the needs of the industry. This program was well received by the industry, and we're going to continue building the momentum in the upcoming months. Road safety is an issue that came up in a few different ways this year, and we're working to address all of those concerns. Locally, there are concerns that driver training schools are not all operating to the same standard, which is unacceptable. We're working to ensure that all of our future drivers in our industry are taught and trained to a minimum standard, no matter where they took their training. We want to ensure that nationally there is an acceptable training and skill standard applied, instead of one skill set being accepted in one jurisdiction and not the other. With MPI's entry-level professional truck driver training program winding down, we're working towards an alternative program. The MPI program was such an innovative and effective way to ensure that new drivers were trained. We extend our sincere thanks to MPI for seeing the potential of this program and for ensuring its success for the last 10 years. This program is really the standard for driver training, and we're grateful to everyone who is involved, including schools, carriers, and of course, the drivers. Provincially, we work hard to promote the visibility of the trucking industry as a career option, specifically looking at young people, new Canadians, and career changers. We encourage through various means people to give serious thought to the trucking industry. And why wouldn't they? Our industry offers opportunities to people with a wide range of talents and abilities. Want to travel and see lots of places? Become a driver. Are you more mechanically inclined and enjoy working with your hands? We're always in need of technicians. Good with people? Become a dispatcher or work in driver recruitment. The sky is the limit in our industry, and we encourage people to understand that when we visit them at our career fairs or do presentations. The Vehicle Maintenance Council released a video this year as another way to get the message out that the trucking industry is hiring and that the opportunities are there to advance your career if that's what you wish. We're fortunate to have the executive members, board members, and the MTA RPM staff members on our team. You'll find the knowledge, history, willingness, and cooperation of this group will help you immensely in your new role. The association's in a very good place because of these groups' passion for the industry and help you guide us along to the next level. I wish you the most success and know you'll be a good president. Thank you for your commitment. Thank you.